Well, hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Real Life with Mike. And today's video is only going to have one agenda, and that is going to be a pretty good in-depth walkthrough of the 165 Alumacraft Escape. Now, this is my new boat I just picked up this year. As you can see from the pickup video, there is a couple other things that have been done since then. So I thought I'd give you a quick walkthrough of the boat in general. Now, looking online, I did not find a lot of YouTube videos about it. So I'm gonna go a little bit more in depth of the Escape, you know, some measurements, what I have for trolling, what I have for outboard, and some of the things I've kind of rearranged and put into the boat to make it a little bit more customized for myself. So stay tuned. We're gonna give you a little bit of a walkthrough, and let's check out the 165 Alumacraft Escape. All right, first things first, I'm gonna kind of go over what we all have. And of course you can see that I got the boat and it came with a Dufort cover. These Dufort trailer covers or travel covers they are unbelievably awesome. They are a really, really tight fit. They're really good for trailering. They also have pockets, as you can kind of see here, for your cleats and everything else. And they also have a spot on the front that I'll kind of show you how they attach, and you can take it off so you can leave your trolling motor on there as well. Of course, the trolling motor is not on. I will put that on for the rest of the video, but right now I'm just going to talk about the tarp in general. So as I said, this is great. It does have the clips for the back cleats as well. The cover doesn't totally connect onto the transom here, and that's because I do have these custom splash guards, which I'll go over a little bit later as well. But this does have a really nice tight fit. Pull that off, it just clips out. And of course, just like any other trailer cover or travel cover, these just clip out and over. That easy to take off. It's super, super nice. I'm gonna back the camera up. I'm gonna take this whole thing off and show you how easy this Dufort cover actually is. Let's see how it goes. There. That whole side's done. Now I'm gonna go to the front and give you a little glimpse of how they actually attach the front to it, which is really nice. All right, so as for the front of the travel cover, you can see it is fully separated here. Of course, underneath here, when you unvelcro that, there is a zipper. This can come off, and there you go. It's just that easy to remove the front section of it, so that way you can still have your trolling motor attached without having to you know, take apart the rest of your travel cover. So Dufort, I give you props, great idea. I already had the back end already taken off, so I'm just gonna redo the rest of this. Like I said, super quick, especially once the front part gets done. Like this. Little clips come off. That side's done. We'll quickly go do the other side here. Just like that, we are done. It doesn't take very long for it to do. Now all we have to do is crumple it up, put it on the side so we can show you the rest of the boat. All right, a couple things I'm gonna show you overall is gonna be this little bike lock here. This is just one of those cylindrical bike locks you can get pretty much anywhere. They're pretty cheap, and basically it fits right around the swing tongue. Makes it super easy to lock up, and just, you know, gives out a little added security for theft and stuff as well. So the other thing is this little bracket up here. I'm not totally completed yet. This is gonna attach to these over there, and that is where my net is gonna go for my rock guard. So once I get that all done, I'm gonna do another video and show you how I did that as well. Now going back to the back, other than some bumpers that I installed, and then of course the transom saver, that's what it's called. That all came with the boat as well. And then of course the Suzuki DF50. I'll get a little bit more into that as well, and I'll also give you a little bit of numbers on speed and RPM and the prop size that I was using. All right, next thing I want to show you guys is this awesome custom decal. It was, you know, it is, well, my logo, but I ended up sending it to a guy named Chris Hockley. He is out of Ontario. He gave me a couple boat ideas on how to kind of design and where to put it. So I want to give a huge shout out to him, as well as Shark Bait Auto Graphics out here in Winnipeg. They're the ones that did the final design and cut up. Like I said, that is awesome. I love the way it blends in with the boat. I couldn't get the same red as the Alumacraft. Who knows, I may redo that Alumacraft section up on the front there, but overall, it kind of just gives that little extra touch to the boat to make it my own. All right, so starting off, of course, we do have the 55 Trova that's sitting over here. It is I think a 56-inch shaft. I can't remember too much, but it is one of the smaller ones. I mean, it is a 16-foot boat, but then again, it is pretty empty, pretty light boat, so I'm not too worried about this. We had this on the water and did some trials with it. This thing easily handled this boat, especially with the Red River current. I had no problem with the Trova. Now, of course, as you can see down here, there is a speaker. I did install a stereo system in here. I'll show you at the back as well where the stereo is and the other speaker is as well. But hey, on those long trips, especially when you're moving around, it's always nice to have a little bit of music, or those really dead times, or maybe you just want to go for a cruise. So it kind of works as a multi-function boat, even though this is just going to be for fishing. So the other thing, I don't know how well you're going to see it with me being in the way. There was a hole in here originally. So here there is a normal hole that comes with the boat. It is always open. I think with the Classics and the competitors, it does come with a block or like a kind of like a Doris style thing, but I ended up getting this off Amazon. I put this in here so of course I can store more stuff in there without having to worry about it flying out or causing any issues. Right now I just have an emergency kit, some rope, a couple camera poles. That's about it. Pretty clean, pretty easy. I like to have everything so when I'm driving I don't have to worry about it. Now I also do have the navigation puck at the front. That's going to help this the Trova to do some jogging and give a little bit more accuracy when you're doing the spot lock and whatnot. All right, then we get into the storage compartments here. Now, of course, with the storage compartments as well, of course, they do have two large storage compartments up here. Callie has all her jackets and stuff. We just came back from a little ride, so of course it is a little bit full. We haven't really had time to organize how we want to do this. Now, the only thing I did change on this front was the battery box for the front for the trolling motor is right here. I ended up using a 60 amp outdoors battery, and that's actually at the front. I put that right at the front, and that's where that shut off is. So that way everything's nice and clean out of the way, and I have this whole entire storage compartment to do with whatever I want with. Tons of room, lots and lots of space, life jacket, extra water, a little bit of food. We're gonna put some storage containers, but overall, pretty big storage for a 16.5-foot boat. And of course, as we move back a little bit further, this is the live well here. As you can see, for a 16-foot boat, this live well is also quite big. So it is really nice to see that Alumacraft has kind of incorporated a lot of big boat stuff into a smaller boat that's a little bit more accessible for people that aren't going with like a competitor or something like that as well. I just put my good old Walleye Mafia board, put it on there for the front. Eventually, I'm going to have a clip that the board can sit up here. So especially when you're doing tournaments, you don't have to worry about taking it all out. It's going to sit there. Then of course, there is a little teeny storage compartment here as well. Callie just filled it up with a whole bunch of containers like this, just so that she has a little bit easier access and, you know, just for her gear. There is a lot of room up there, but it's just a lot easier just to put it in that empty storage space, which has nothing anyway. So the other thing I did with the boat, you'll be able to see a little bit, maybe on the camera. I can't tell if you can see or not, but on this far corner, there is a USB plug. On the front, above the plug for the Trova, there's a USB plug. I'm gonna show you a couple of them back here as well. I have them all strategically placed so that way I could put cameras up wherever I want, and I'm always gonna have power. That's one of the biggest things I ran into the other boat, was always having to have cords or battery packs. This way I never have to worry about it. Power, 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 power. Not gonna run out. All right, so on here, of course, we do have a cup holder. We do have the Garmin, I think it's a 73. I keep thinking 75, but Garmin 73 back here, the Garmin 102 up on front. They are interlinked with the live scope, and I'll get a little bit further into that when we get a little bit further back in the boat. Now, one of the biggest things I've noticed, especially with the Alumacrafts, is that their seats are nice. They are super well padded. Of course, there is just 2 swivel seats on the front here. And then this one here does have the captain's seat that can move front and back. Of course, especially if you're tillering, you can have it all the way back to steer, and then you can move it up when you're gonna be fishing off the side or however you wanna do it as well. But overall, I'm super happy we got some finally good seats. So much easier to go on those long rides. You know, don't find our backs hurting. We get a little bit extra time to go fishing. All right, so as we get back to my area of the boat, Callie is lucky enough, she's pretty much gonna get anything from pretty much the back of her seat ahead. That is all gonna be hers. This is my control area. She's not allowed to come here unless she's helping me with the fish. Rules of the boat, give your space, makes it a lot easier for those fishing trips. But like I said, I have the Garmin 102 back here. Inside here is the rod locker. Kind of have to hold it up because the screen's a little bit too big. There we go. And I'll give you a little bit of a glimpse in here as well. I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see it from that distance, but I don't have my my rods in there yet. I don't know how I want to configure them. I don't know how I want to make the bracket to fit them in. But right now I do have one of these collapsible Lucky Strikes nets. They are really big, and of course the fact that this does open up, for being as small as it is and as compact as it is really, really nice. It's super durable. I wasn't very sure on how much I liked the fact of having a collapsible one, but the best thing is it can fit in there. I don't have to have it sitting above the boat and worry about it flying out, or have this big giant thing hanging out there as well. So super happy with that. One thing I do like about this rod locker storage is I believe you can fit an 8-foot rod in there. I think I only run a 7'2" and Callie has a 7'3", so our rods are easily going to fit in there. So I just haven't figured out how we want to do that. But in this rod locker storage, I've used it as a multi-function storage. As you can see, the speaker below here, I have the stereo here, and of course I have one of the chargers inside of that rod locker. So that's really nice as well. Those NoCo Genius, this is a NoCo Genius 5x3, so that can charge 3 different batteries, AGM, lithium, lead acid, whatever you want. And it's also going to do maintaining. So I have the one NoCo charger here. I also have one back here. We'll get into that in a little bit, but I'll give you a little look on here. Okay, so like I said, I have my stereo sitting there. I have my black box for my live scope over there, and of course one of the chargers here. The wire still isn't as good as I would like it to be. I am going to clean the wires up a little bit more, just because of the fact that I want them really, really clean. But overall, there's still tons and tons of room in this rod locker. So now, of course, we get to the back of the boat. It's a little bit tight fitting, of course, trying to do the filming in here. I did attach this just temporary tape measure. I do have another bump board here that's an actual legal bump board. So that way, at least I can just do a quick measure. If I need to actually measure it, I can always use a bump board as well. But back here is going to be where your battery and your fuel tank is. This is another good thing that Alumacraft does. They make this wall easily able to come out, and then that way you can have accessibility to all your batteries and fuel as well. Now this little compartment here, or switch panel here I made, it's a temporary one. It's kind of a provision one. I've made a couple different styles. So far this one I like. This way I can turn everything off or on individually. This will be my screen. This is my live scope. That's Callie's screen. This one is a USB, my stereo, and I haven't figured out this one yet. I think this one is going to be for an internal light that I'm going to be running throughout the boat. Of course, in the back here, I am running a NoCo Genius. That is a 10x1, so that's going to be charging my main battery, my main outboard battery, and that's going to do that. The reason why I didn't want to go with a 4-bank charger is so that way I can separate it. I'm just kind of a little crazy like that, but don't mind some of the wiring. Like I said, this is all going to be like this for probably a month or so until I really figure out how I want to get that all set up. And then once I figure out how I'm going to get it set up, I'm probably going to take the whole thing out, make a custom wiring wire harness, and literally do the whole entire thing over again. But that's all the stuff that I've done. Now on the little switch panel that comes with the Alumacraft, it does come with a 12-volt power supply. This one I did convert from that 12-volt main power supply to a USB, because the USB is just, I use the USBs more than anything else. The next switch is going to be the Aerator button. That's going to be for your live well, so it'll help fill up and also do your aeration. You have your bilge pump, and then you have your lights with your ancillary lights and your nav lights. So like I said, they do come with a pretty basic wiring system, and it is okay. The best thing I liked about this boat is it's simple. Not a lot of stuff that you have to have, but a lot of stuff that you need, which is really, really good. So now that we have the 2 NoCo chargers, I'll just shut this for now. So we have the charger here, they have the charger here. I didn't want to have to worry about plugging them in all the time, so I ended up picking up a NoCo plug charge here. Basically this you can just lift up, you can attach your extension cord into here, and that's going to charge everything on your whole entire boat. Now the best thing with that is that you never have to worry about it. Every time you come home, plug your boat in, it's good to go for the next day. I'm super happy with this. It turned out really well. It was not very fun to get that plug in there, because of course you do have to take a lot of this stuff out, rewire it all. So it does take a little bit of work. It takes a little bit of time and a lot of patience. But overall, that's probably, other than the screens and all the fun stuff, that's probably my favorite thing so far. All right, so like we said before, front, lots of storage, side, lots of storage, rod locker, captain seat, this is the last storage compartment in the boat here. Of course, this is pretty large as well. I do have all of my tackle on the back here. I have my my life vest, you know, some extra tackle, you know, the whistle, bilge bucket, what else is there? Fire extinguisher, everything else I need to make sure the boat is safe. But like I said, it's really nice to have this extra storage container. The only thing I wish Alumacraft did, and I may do myself, is put another cup holder here. Because of course, if I'm here, I wouldn't mind having a cup holder here. I did install one here and one here. It's like an accessory container for me and Callie, but it wouldn't be terrible to have a cup holder here because the only other cup holder is over there. Kind of a pain. Who knows? I may put one here. Nothing's wrong with too many cup holders. But yeah, I have all the my extra stuff sit in this corner, which is really nice. It is just nice to have such a big open space. You can put some extra food or lunch or whatever else in here as well. Now, the other thing I did is I put, of course, the USB on this side as well. So this is where another camera could set up if I needed to. So like I said, for power, I'm not gonna run out of power, especially for my cameras around here. I'm not overly concerned with it. And so far, I think the boat setup for myself works really, really well. Of course, with the screen, I did end up doing the wiring through one of the drain holes over here. I do have my transducer there, and of course I am running the live scope as well, so I'm not concerned with that. That's going to be more for my depths and everything else. All right, so going along with the graphs and everything else, especially with the live scope, I want to show you this mount that I've made. I did a little bit of a video on YouTube before, but like I said, it is just a Scotty mount on front with the quick release button that is attached to the Alumacraft system. So the good thing with the Alumacraft clamp is that it just fits on perfectly. They're super stable. The reason why I did it out of plexiglass is because I know this stuff is super, super strong. It's not even plexi, I think it's Lexan. But anyway, it's super strong, it's not gonna flex, and it's pretty durable. So if I ever need to, this can just go on. Of course, I have to tighten the bracket. Once that's on, I can take my custom live scope pole and it can click on. Now that it's clicked on, I can go drive around. This is not gonna go anywhere, has a little bit of give to it, but overall, super stable. So when you're on the water and you're trying to do, you know, some scouting and stuff like that as well, this is a retractable pole as well. So I can get it like, I think it goes about 5.5 feet, but I only needed about that much. I can leave it like this when I'm traveling, and then of course when I need to, push the button, turn it, it goes down, clips in. This is super sturdy. It's not gonna go anywhere. It doesn't have a lot of sway to it. But like I say, my best part of, or I think the best part of the design is that if you need to, push the button, take out, clip up, she's good to go. You can go wherever you want, drop it down again. But like I said, take a look at my other video. I did a quick video on this on my YouTube channel. Just check the videos below. I think it works really well. Who knows? It is gonna be a little bit of a trial and error like everything else I do. I'm probably gonna switch it up, but so far, out of all the designs I've done, this one works the best. All right, so now getting back to the back of the boat here, I made these custom splash guards. Of course, this video is going to be on my YouTube channel as well. You just have to search in the videos for custom splash guard. Other than that, this splash guard took me a little while because of course the angles and dimension of the outboard as it's going up and down as well. I did pre-drill some holes, put some aluminum screw rivets so that way this can be removed, it's not permanently installed. This is made of polycarb as well, super strong. It's not the thickest stuff, it does have a little bit of give to it, but honestly we've been on some pretty big waves already. I've had no issues. Most that would ever have to happen, if it does break, I'll just have to replace it with another one. I think it cost me with some extra polycarb piece I had in the garage, maybe about $6 in about half an hour of time. So other than templating, it wasn't too bad. Of course, when you have to do this, I'll just take this off so I can kind of show you what I do. Just take that off. So the biggest thing, let's let it all the way down here. Biggest thing you have to take in consideration is how the engine moves and is it going to be obstructed by that. So when it goes all the way through, of course I had to do this on both sides. You want to make sure the brake won't come in contact with that, as well as when it's slightly up, it's not going to be able to rub anywhere onto the outboard as well. I was planning on doing a little rubber seal over here, but I also don't like the rubber sitting and, you know, scratching up the paint. So that little track of water that could get in here, I'm not concerned with. It's all the stuff behind here. Over the next couple of months as we're fishing, like I said, you're gonna see these on a lot of times, on a lot of the videos. But in general, like I said, keep an eye out for them. I'm sure these are gonna last all year, if not longer. Like I said, a little polycarb, a little bit of heat, just a plastic bender. Pretty easy to do. Okay, now we're gonna get to the meat and potatoes of the boat, the Suzuki DF50. Now, there is gonna be a lot of numbers coming out. This is from what we've done with all the testing, the different prop sizes, with different speed ratings and what we've been able to achieve with our setup that we have. All the testing I've done was on a river that had some pretty heavy current. We did a trial going against current and with current as well, with a 11.5 by 14 pitch as well as 11.5 by 13 pitch. So the boat did come with a 11.5 by 14 pitch. That's pretty standard for a boat this size, but we did notice going with the current, even at max, like wide open throttle, it was only getting around 5,800 to about 5,900 RPM, which is okay. It's still in that operating range, but it felt a little sluggish. It felt like it was really having to work to get to there. That's not a huge thing. Of course, it's still working. I did notice the gas consumption was a little bit higher, so I ended up going with a 13. With that 14 pitch prop going with the current, we were getting about 56 to 57 kilometers an hour, which would be here, miles an hour. I don't really know the conversion, so I'm just gonna, whenever I go like this, I'll just put the miles an hour there. But 55, 56 kilometers an hour going with, and about 44 to 46 kilometers going against the current with the 14 pitch. Still super impressive, very, very quick for a boat this size. Nothing to complain other than I felt that that 14 was a little bit sluggish. So we went down to Luke's, ended up picking up a 11.5 by 13 pitch prop. Now that one going with the current, we were getting around that 62, 6,300 RPM at wide open throttle, and going against, we were getting around 59 to 61, 59 to 6,100 RPM going against it as well. So we are on the top of the RPM, but the one thing I did notice is that it didn't feel sluggish. It felt like it still had a little bit more power. It did feel like it wasn't really pulling. It felt more like it was pushing, which is really, really nice. So I think for our setup, I'm going to stay with the 13 for now, especially if we get the live well full, or if we end up getting another person on here. That extra weight may reduce that max RPM. Now the other thing is, I don't like the fact with the 14 pitch at wide open throttle, like I said, it was barely hitting that 5,800, even with the current, and the current is crazy. So going with that 13 pitch, I could back off just slightly, keep it within that range, and it still operated really, really well. The big thing with that 13 pitch is this thing picked up out of the water instantly. Unbelievably quick. I found that the speed difference between the 14 and 13 was not that much. Like I said, going with the current, this thing would get around that 54 kilometers an hour, 54, 55 kilometers an hour, whatever this is in miles. And going against current was around 43 to 44 kilometers an hour, miles an hour. So realistically, that 1 or 2 mile an hour drop is not a big concern with me, but I did feel that the outboard did work a little bit better with that 13 pitch prop. Now, of course, there's so many different variables when you're propping your boat, whole bunch of different ways to do it, and who knows, that may totally change everything when we get onto a no current lake. But I am going to keep that 14 as well as a backup. That way I can switch it up, depends on what we're doing. Or if I have a couple people in here, I can always pitch down, get a little bit better of a ride as well. So sorry for this really long-winded section of the video, but with outboards, like I said, that's probably one of the biggest thing is performance. And of course, the next videos I'm going to be doing in the future, I'm going to give you a little bit more visual performance and how that all works, how I trim everything as well, and go from there. But like I said, we only have a couple days till opening day. You're going to see a lot more videos of the Alumacraft. Well, everybody, that is it for the explanation and kind of semi walkthrough of the Alumacraft Escape 165. Like I said, I could not say anything bad about this boat. I absolutely love it. I have not taken it out a ton, maybe 6 or 7 times, but just enough time to get the outboard worked in, just enough time for opening day that's coming in a couple of days. But like I said, having this whole floor open, no benches is going to be a huge thing. having that front deck open is going to be massive. So this is going to bring a lot of things to the channel, a lot more tournaments, a lot more just fishing in general. And who knows, not even just fishing, we may even go to Lake of the Woods, do some camping. Overall, I hope this boat brings us as much memories as the little 12-foot Ultimate Smoker Craft. I haven't named this one yet. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. I guess we're going to see its attitude and how it acts when we actually get on the water. But I'd like to thank you guys all for tuning in and watching the video. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. Of course, that helps as well. Like I said, I'm going to have a ton of videos on the Alumacraft, and hopefully I can answer some of your questions. I'm not a boat expert by no means. I am not an outboard expert by no means. I like to fool around and make some weird stuff every so often. But if you guys have any questions whatsoever, feel free to write a comment below and I'll definitely do my best to see what I can do to help you guys out. But with all that being said and done, thank you guys very much for watching. Hopefully we'll see you on the water in a couple of days. Wish us luck. There's supposed to be some rain. Until we catch you again, keep it real.